The big vote over with, I can again fully concentrate on One Piece. Thanks for the wonderful support, but more is needed. Recently, YouTube revenue dropped another 50%. Please consider pledging to the Patreon below. Thanks so much if you choose to. If my eyes do not deceive me, I do believe that this is a brand new track in the anime. Awesome. Easy to tell how this would legit freak people out. It falls from the sky, seems like people were only just there, weird ththings going on via Robin's ability, and ancient gold on board. During the last video I praised a lot how this fortress was already being shown on a grand scale, many rooms and elements of the fortress that exist in real life. Here's another one. Luffy very much doing a Luffy kind of thing here. More realism? See what I'm saying? It makes so much more sense to drag the ship off somewhere where you can properly look into it rather than keeping it in the middle of the lake. Oh, I understand now. You can't take your swimming in winds when you give me realism. So what do? You have a ship full of marines, some injured, turn up at the base asking entry. Take your win. Hi. Small thing, but take one for the fact that he didn't challenge his leader whilst the guy was still there but waited for him to leave fully. See, now I adore that. He says, you know all too well the feeling of being out in the middle of the Grand Line, so we're letting them in and getting them aid and basically some solid ground again in safety. Two Winds, seeing the size and scale of this place from the inside is a whole different ballgame. And seeing Zoro casually walking through like this. Two Winds again. Firstly, Nami looking real good, can't escape that. Secondly, it's the fact that whoever wrote this story for the anime split the crew up like Oda does. Would just be intriguing to see if they can make it as interesting as he does. Nami using that big awesome brain of hers to figure this out when she panics after seeing the Going Merry is gone. People seeing someone like her for the first time and not just assuming that she's a bad guy or whatever, which only lends itself to being believable since the place is so huge. That's actually a pretty quick lie to come up with all of a sudden. A whole lot of not walking on the spot when they really didn't need to. These two at the second, after Sanji and Luffy, to meet up. I really do like Zoro, even in a situation like this. He's calm as can be and just taking in life. Man, to be that relaxed when you could afford to be. Oddly enough, them all changing clothing like this scores them an extra win already. Well played. Such a clever twist of fate, and it's good how it's connected to the ship coming in and then Nami meeting them to boot. Also great to me is how this place has been mentioned once more. The place with the highest ranking officials in the world, and of course these two chefs cooked there for them. Two wins, one personal, one normal. First the normal one, Sanji getting his own part of the episode to do a cooking comp. He hasn't done anything like this since Loguetown. The personal one, my wife and I literally just got finished watching the 2014 movie Chef just now, and so this hits home as I really enjoyed the relaxing, wholesome movie.
ブロッコリーの芯は柔らかく香りのいいドレッシング。
The whole cooking scene easily gets a win for proving the point I was making 2 wins back, but also I gotta correct myself, there was the filler at sea with the young marine lad Sanji helped. Classic One Piece, all of these people looking unique in the entire hand-done crowd.
どんな食材も丸ごと愛を注ぐのがコックのたしなみだ。レディーのすべてを愛するようにな。
He says it in his own unique way, but he makes a solid point. You're on the front lines. If you ran out of food, you've got to be able to use everything. It's good. Luffy said they're just absolutely wiping out the food they cooked. Also credit to this scene because it didn't devolve into a makeshift competition. Instead, right away, they're learning from Sanji and talking about his lesson. Half the win is the bait and switch, but also let's not forget how sweet it was for those two to run over to him there. Even though it ultimately won't lead to anything, it's still a very nice way to end their meeting, I must admit.
今日は坊主にならずに済みそうだわい。
That's kind of strange reaction. Is he using a metaphor and Zoro is the fish he will catch? Or is he ignoring he's up there for some reason? Take a confused win! Some shockingly good animation there, especially once he hit the water and swam through it at the start, and as it turns out, it was a metaphor! You gotta love how they consider him such a threat that they stationed this many people outside his cell.
ま、しばらくのんびりするか。
There's tons of classic Luffy and Usopp moments, but this has to be one of Zoro's. His innate ability to chill when he needs to.
ああ、天国から来たのさ。
ふざけたことを抜かすな。
別にふざけてなんかねえよ。本当に空からさ。
Brilliant. Zoro feeling absolutely zero need to lie about anything, but it comes across as so unreal that he thinks it's a lie. Once again, as in the last video, I'm so happy I get to start giving the anime wins for Chopper being the cutest thing to ever exist in all of anime. Two wins. Firstly, so cute, come on man! That voice actress man! But also the realism behind Nami getting nervous and hiding. You'd think with her disguise she'd assume they're not after her, but in real life you'd be anxious and hide most likely, like she does. Another really nice attention to detail has to be how different roles have different clothing. Right away you can see 2 examples of that, from the guards to people who move stuff. Oh, a very weird doctor character enters the stage. Nami changing her outfit for like the 4th time in only 4 episodes is something crazy. Totes Adorbs here too. Suddenly, not running on the spot. Oh, he's so sweet, already sounding genuinely concerned for people he doesn't even know. Such an easy follow-up win. Chopper is the boss, can't stand by and watch people hurt not getting help, so he does this. Such a legend, so funny but so awesome. Nami and Chopper meeting up. They really did a decent job of having the crew run into one another in various ways. The scene is way too long for me to get away with showing, but absolutely take a win for Chopper not giving up on her, sharing his own experiences, and it nicely ties into his background too. So awesome that his words had an impact, so she sets off to do the op rather than it being Chopper who does it all and saves the day. This is far better. Chopper!
ドクトリーヌに怒られちゃうよ。
His reasons for not leaving are great as well, so massive credit to whoever wrote that into the non-canon story that he is relying on his past experiences so much here.
メスを。はい先生。ナミ、吸引を。はい。
Huge credit to Nami for throwing herself into the deep end here to help Chopper doing this stuff. It really speaks volumes about her, and I dare say Oda would have had her do the same.
引き上げるぞ。見張っとけ。
Again, too long to show as there's some back and forth, but she gets a win here for standing up for herself and them in the room, even though she probably knows they're not entirely legit, as it were. A nice piece of music I wanted to play for you as I felt it really fit the theme here and sounded new to me. I won't ever get bored of him correcting people but also loving getting compliments, but also her really not caring that he's not a human giant, very hairy doctor.
Hi! 私はジェシカさんのしもべです。
わかった。こうなったのはサンジ。てめえのせいだ。
Usually he wouldn't get a win, but seeing his little brain working and then deciding to blame everything on Sanji was a touch of genius.
難攻不落、海軍最強の要塞ともよ。あの中央島におそらく司令部があるはず。でも分かるのはそのくらい。
They really blow me away with these recent super zoomed out shots. I kind of figured they'd call that when back on the surface, but it's held on after the last arc, which is nice.
まで調べよってきかよ、ロビン。
当然でしょ。私たちは敵のど真ん中にいるのよ。
She really does like what she likes, and I appreciate her so much for it. In a way, she is a lot like me, just loves to learn about things. Times like this, I will proudly proclaim that he is one of my favourite voice actors in the game right now. He's amazing.
だからこそ、まずはじっくりと。ね。
Before this, she says, even if we go get the Mary, are you expecting them to show us the way out? And then this happens, which I personally love, because she always thinks so logically. Hear me now! She literally just keeps on getting better and better. I wrote the last twin, was very happy with her, and then just like that, she saves him from capture. Legend! The way she dresses, though! That transition, though, too.
ジョナサン司令官は現在食事の時間ですから食堂にいらっしゃると思います。
ではその食堂に取り付けばいいだろう。
Someone was definitely following the way of Oda by continuing to add realism to this fortress, as he mentions that the commander will be eating his food by this time. More realism.
気のせいか。
Can you even imagine being in his position there? Her ability is so crazy. Like, you'd be so shocked and confused. The food that Sanji is cooking up looking so colourful and varied.
野菜もたっぷりというのはな、ブロッコリーと人参が苦手なんだよ。
第8支部のモットーその2。
Between him solving the early questions regarding the Going Merry and the crew as shown in the last video, and now his personality on display here, a good job is done of building him. All of the animated Luffy tasting the food going on in the background.
やべ、お、ルフィ。
Really good twist that Jessica is his wife and Luffy is the one giving the meal to him.
全く期待を裏切らない。
そうだな。
Us basically being able to put 2 and 2 together to figure out already that Luffy snatched some of his food. Then they go and actually show it. How he's asking Luffy logical questions that don't just relate to the here and now, but instead also what happened in Alabasta and things in the wider world setting too.
何って空から落っこちてきたらここだったんだ。まったく面白いな、グランドラインってところは。
Luffy being totally honest. You really got to appreciate that element to him. He has no deception in him. He's just honest.
要塞のおっさん、ゾロはどこだ？
聞いてどうする？
決まってんだろ。今から助けに行くんだ。
Feels like such a great and easy follow-up to the last win. Right away, he is painfully honest about what he intends to do with the information.
ジェシカさん。
麦わらの一味だったとはね。
海賊にしておくにはもったいない腕だったよ。
Things are really starting to heat up and become more serious, and I for one think it's the perfect time. Few episodes into the arc, nearing the halfway point, let's do it. Without using any words, they take him from being a friendly, eccentric older commander to suddenly what looks, at least, to be an absolute powerhouse. Well done. This is where the size of the fortress comes in handy, because there's so many people about that this could actually happen. Plus it's allowed numerous other wins to happen too. When I mentioned his voice acting prowess recently, this is exactly the kind of work I feel I have to point out. Such high notes, and says the last bit, 100 miles an hour. It was clever that the writers for this arc included the recent feeling Oda was mentioning about Usopp and his love for the ship, and it continued here. Things like that really tickle me. I like this old man. He and the Doctor from before seem to look past the fact that they're pirates and see the good in them right away. It makes them very unique.
名前は
秘密
所属は
秘密
といえば今朝入港したスタンマレー号に海軍本部から派遣された特別監察官が乗船していたと聞く。
Super nice connection to the start of the episode where that dude was wandering around. The one that Robin took out and took his ID card.
私こそは海軍本部特別監察官ウソップ大佐だ。
Then what makes it even better is that, of course, with Usopp being a grade A liar, which means I'm really good at it, he naturally does a great job of lying about it hereafter.
米卒に身をやつし内情を探っていたと。そういうわけさ。失礼しました、大佐殿。
How come he's such a good liar, though? Going first person like it's no big deal whatsoever.
俺はやっぱりめじな真似はどうした
Three fairly quick wins here. Firstly, I found it hilarious watching Usopp saying sorry over and over again.
はじめまして、ジョナサン司令官。
Secondly, I liked how it was Robin who is now posing as the captain. Thirdly and lastly, I am convinced that my waifu looks good in everything.
シェパード中佐大佐をご存知で？
こんな人知らないわ。
Massive plot twist. I totally thought she'd go along with it.
俺になんか恨みでもあんのかよ。裏切りだぜありゃ。お前もそう思うだろうそら。
It would have come across as quite cartoonish if suddenly Usopp is in the dungeon and alright with it, but instead he's logically kind of annoyed at events. Way more realistic.
俺がいるだろうがよ。
そっか。ゾロのそばにいた方が安全と踏んで。
He says you should be thanking Robin, and then this happens. And I just think Zoro continues to be one of the coolest characters in anime history. He's so calm and in control. Again, showing how these Marines take their job super seriously and take them equally serious.
天使と長鼻の男、見慣れぬ医者とナース。
Glad to see the people who made the filler adding things I often praise in the canon storyline, like him presuming Nami as a nurse because she was in a nurse's gear back then.
そしてもう一人、自称シェパード中佐。
And lastly, the rather quietly epic reveal that he knows Robin is also not who she says she is. Maybe.
船と二人はすでに捕らえ、こる麦わらの一味も我が手中に。
Interesting seeing him playing this out like a complicated game of chess, moving pieces around the board, capturing the enemy pieces one by one. I like that analogy.
一箇所しかないなんて。
You know me, I love a good detailed map, but also the reveal that there's one way out. Speaking of realism and not being cartoony, he says report it later on, but if you see someone you suspect, arrest them there and then.
それを奪ってとっとと逃げりゃいいものをな。そこが海賊どもの浅はかさよ。
I really like that. They're saying it without saying it, that the reason Usopp didn't just take any other ship is because this one means a lot to him, and the old man can see that without saying it. Oh my god, it's so simple yet so perfect. Sanji is peeking around and crouching and Luffy is straight up walking normally.
監獄がどこにあるのか知ってんのか？
サンジ知らねえのか？
知るわけねえだろ。
I love it! That's kind of a variation of the joke where he pretends something is super obvious. Or it might be the variant where he pokes fun at something random.
やっぱあのへそ島が怪しいと思うんだよな。
どうしてそう思う？
Belly Button Island. Only Luffy's mind works that way.
ここは動くな。それが分かってるならさっさとここから立って。私はジョナサン司令官に用があるんだ。
And there, ladies and gents, is a lovely bit of realism. They don't automatically assume he's a good guy. Oh my word, what happened to you? Nope, they act like this. I love it. Robin being keen-eyed and figuring out that she's being watched.
もうやめとけ、見苦しいぞ。男は諦めが肝心だぜ。ジタバタすんのは予想や。
Man, I adore how fast Usopp was here, knowing that pretending he's one of their crew is the best idea to keep Robin's disguise intact for a bit longer. Literally a win for him jabbing him with his long nose.
キャーギャうるせえんだよ。
Then one more for Zoro joining in and settling it by making him stop talking. Such a brilliant scene all around, I swear.
2人のシェパードか。
This really goes back to something Oda always does and the writers are borrowing here, that being not everyone is always in the loop about everything. Bruh, they might have legit added as much realism as Oda would have if he wrote it himself.
うんこベリゴンになんかあったのか？
安心せえ。お前さんの船は無事だ。今のところはな。
Feel real smart for having written win number 6333 now regarding Usopp and his love for the ship, as clearly that really did come across to this old man.
さあ俺整備士でもなんでもねえんだ。あれ直したのは。
Oh snap! I totally and completely forgot about this happening, and now it's being brought up in a non-canon arc. I'm blown away!
いいかながっぱな。修理をするときは普段目の届かないところに気を配る。わかったな。
ああ、わかったよ、おっさん。ありがとうだ。
These two shared quite the wholesome scene in the end, and you can see how he even wanted him to escape since he's giving him advice about the future of repairing the ship. Even on non-canon episodes, they don't skimp on animation. For context, Sanji's saying, it's strange, no one is around. It's like they want us to get here, and Luffy says this. Like, he totally doesn't get it at all.
なんて言えばいい？
さあな、来たきゃ来いとでも言っとけ。
来たきゃ来い！
I legit can't get over how laid back Zoro is. Usopp is worried, do I call them or not? And Zoro is like, do what you feel like doing. Damn, they got those sea stone bars Crocodile had before. Loved the animation on him losing energy though.
同じことだよ、タコが。さてと、どうするか。
Even whilst fully surrounded on both sides by tons of guys, he still has this much confidence. Hence why he's the number 2 cool guy just before Zoro.
とりあえず。
何よ。観念しろ。
まあ待て、ゴリラマン。
Kind of be shocked that Sanji couldn't break it even with his extremely powerful kicks, but at least he can use Usopp's dial, hopefully. Nice way to include that from the last arc.
行くぜ。
この気性のいい蛇が？
Oh no! He gave him the wrong one. But again, as funny as it is, nice to see a link to the last arc once again. I don't even care. This wonderfully unique reaction, which has never been seen before, can get one too. Yeah, Sanji really isn't someone to laugh at. That was nothing short of perfection as a scene. The way they had Sanji angrily lock eyes with him the entire time and animated each movement of him taking the dial. So good. Oh my god, now it's the fart one! Another plot twist! I don't even know, that's getting its own win. The fact that Luffy pulled a prank on him, and it comes out now. Yet another plot twist, are you mad? Who'd have thought the lamps hit by the extreme gas would ignite? I really didn't think this would happen. It's such a good twist yet again. They have, for now anyway, escaped. Already. It's so good. I get why people enjoy G8 so much now. Not escaping the prison on the spot. It's really become such a thing that Zoro gets lost, which in fairness he did totally get lost at the end of Alabasta looking for the bomb and in the forest in the last arc. Oh my goodness, it actually came true. He really did get them lost and in the process found their way around the trap. Brilliant transition to the end there, and I once again must say Robin is such a favourite of mine, and so quickly too. Once more giving us a scene before the episode proper even begins with the title card. This is good because it's the point in the story where other writers would have definitely made them now believe him, and yet still, because of everything that's happened, they don't. That was far easier and far quicker than I imagined it would be. The commander continues to be unique. He blocked his man from firing at him. It's like he is enjoying the game as much as Luffy is. I cut it a little short, but I enjoyed the exchange and found it quite an interesting statement from Luffy for being non-canon. Again, avoiding being cartoonish by showing the size of the hole from the blast and how it affected even them up there. To my mind, it's pretty much one of the first times the Marines themselves have discussed opinions on a higher priced bounty. Clearly he's saying they're strong but also smart and different. And that's a decent follow-up to 2 wins back, because on top of what I mentioned, there we see the damage caused all around the hole and the metal too. That's so cool! I was already impressed when I first saw them ages ago, but knowing there's smaller versions for things like this is even better. He loves fishing, so it's a nice touch to see the room looking like this with the picture and the design at the top. Speaking of nice additions, look how he quickly glances into the room behind her while speaking to her, checking it out. There's another dose of realism for you. They're very sus and does want to check out the room, rather than just assuming everything is fine and dandy in there. And a follow-up quickly. Once she locks the doors, they act like this, knowing something is up now, instead of being dumbfounded or whatever. She's so clueless. Somehow, even when they said they're pirates just now. I know it's such a small thing, but I felt like that reaction from Chopper needed its own win.
俺たちなんだけど。だから俺たちは海賊なんだ。
Not what I had expected at all. She needed loads of hints, and by hints I mean outright telling her, and then she screams, which caught me off guard. So that was a real good twist.
これは大丈夫か？おい、しっかりしろ。
Now that is very clever to use Nami like that. Yes, this is very good. I like that.
待っててくれる？ナミ、早くここから逃げようよ。
Take another one. It was an awesome escape plan.
たとえ海賊で不思議な鹿さんでも、あなたは私に医者の心を教えてくださいました。
Her giving him credit in spite of them being pirates and her initially being shocked. She doesn't forget what he taught her and how he helped her, which is nice to see.
礼なんかいらねえよ。それに俺は鹿じゃねえ。
I'm never gonna stop winning Chopper being so adorable when praised.
どっちだって同じだろ。出ていくって決めたんだしよ。
Nice little warm-up speech here, other than Usopp anyway. Just one of those moments that serves to hype you up.
あ、でも俺が危なくなったら助けてね。お返事は？
Normally, I wouldn't give that its own win, but it was him just before saying, if you get caught in a trap, don't expect me to save you, only to go on to ask to be saved if needs be.
と言ってもここにはたくさんあるんですけど、船が落ちた地点から考えると。
The writers poured realism onto these episodes and even added a little on the side in case you get peckish, as we learn the place is so big it has multiple docks.
予算縮小とかでドックの数が減ってるんですけど、あそこならまだ設備が整ってますから。
And there's the side dish of realism I talked about, perfect as a dipping sauce, as we find out budget cuts saw some docks closed, but naturally there's still some equipment there. I love it.
おい、まだでバカルフィ！
しょうがねえな。
So much animating them through the scene it had to be shown first. One of those times you've got to remind yourself that some poor soul drew all of them by hand. All of those men placed around the bridge. Tons of them. Right away a reminder that numbers are not everything, as our boys start laying out like 30 of them already. Some really nice animated movements there from Zoro, including a well done and smooth series of attacks from a distance after. A surprisingly clever attack there, and just goes to show that someone with fruit powers can be taken down if they make a mistake. The effortless style of Sanji's attacks with hands in pockets, always looking so cool, and hasn't been seen properly in a while. Stroke of genius to have in this non-canon arc. So many references to Sky Island, including the sheer confusion here at why he's unable to attack him. Perfect alternative to win number 6412, albeit without someone having a fruit power, but you can see how they made a small mistake and Sanji could seize on it. One of the best uses of this attack he's ever done, because it's pretty much cleared the entire bridge. Another great use of another attack of his. This one may have been even better because it hit so hard it rocked the bridge. Damn man, not only did he rock the bridge, he straight up wrecked it! Plus the main win is for the damage animation there as it broke apart.
死者、行方不明者はないようです。
おいおい、いくらなんでも壊しすぎだろ。
Glad they added that in. One could easily assume, rather darkly, that those people didn't make it, so we're instead told that they did and can thus sleep well at night.
司令官殿、88ドック特別捕獲作戦が整いました。捕獲作戦始動だ。
The next big deal in this arc coming to light, a special squad tasked with capturing our heroes. This has turned out so awesome, simply trying to escape for so many episodes. Everyone but Robin has now met back up in this place at long last.
本当にこっちで合ってるんだろうな、ウソップ。
大丈夫だ、間違いねえ、このまま進め。
They never used to do this, so I'm thrilled that they've started giving scenes from the prior episodes that weren't seen, or from different angles and so on like this. I know I harp on about it, but look how many soldiers are there! Come off it! That one is even more insane, no? I love that. It's getting max wins. The fact that they went all slow motion got me thinking of Hunter x Hunter with the Chimera and Arc, and then Luffy defends them all. Absolutely brilliant. It's actually interesting and worthy of a win for seeing more human-type weapons being used in this world, like this one. Not sure it's ever happened, so for me it was pretty sick to see Usopp save Sanji for a change. Coolest thing about this moment for me was Zoro not even using his eyes. The more I learn about Luffy and see him fight, the more I appreciate his ability to dodge, defend, and attack AoE, but also directly on one enemy. So damn awesome. Only these two would fight mid-fight because of an offhand comment from Zoro earlier. Basically learning that the commander has a rule of sorts to prefer to take pirates alive, that's pretty cool to learn. Those sons of guns have got sea stone nets as well. Having said that, didn't Smoker and or his men have them versus Buggy at Loketown? In that case, they're more popular but still shocking. Going back to the first win of this episode, how crazy is it to get this far into the episode and it's still unseen scenes? Two wins here. Firstly, the continued ruse, which, as you know, I found to be so clever. Same thing that's happening with Robin and taking the wrong guy prisoner earlier. Secondly, it's Chopper's background confusion whilst the scene plays out. Chopper totally acting the part like a legend, and Zoro casually clapping the performance just had to score one. Hearing Chopper do a typical Yakuza/goon type character is something I didn't know I needed in my life. I'm not sure which is more funny, everything going on or Luffy thinking he really means it all. Sanji, who normally has no time for dudes, does tend to throw that out of the window when it comes to food, and that's a nice subcategory of that part of his personality, I think. And to be fair to her, the response is well done. To her mind, her husband and all the men are fighting the pirates right now as they speak, so using the help from one is a no-go. Interestingly though, the lesson Sanji imparted upon her and the others suddenly finds its way to the surface and she is shocked by it coming out. Goodness me, it actually worked! How are you gonna animate so many characters though? The continuation of Zoro's incredible ability to cut through so many new things. Firstly, I'm happy to say I was right to see a connection between them before the reveal that they're father and daughter, and also how he waves aside concern knowing she's actually okay. A really tense scene done very well. Zoro also getting credit for first noting that something wasn't right too. That was kind of creepy looking, but insanely smoothly animated to make the sneak look great. Even better is Nami freaking out and giving a great left hook, and of course, they still think she's on their own side. The old man, her father, earning massive legend points for freeing their ship to aid their escape. Luffy getting everyone onto the boat in an epic style. The music makes this so much more epic, but the main bulk of the win is for the realistic waves pushed up onto the dock. I loved that so much. Why can't you ever rescue us in a normal fashion? Too much to risk showing, but we get that classic G8 realism by him saying you will be punished for releasing the ship, rather than him seemingly getting away with everything. I tell you, I'm such a big fan of how they've handled each character in the fortress, and how the Marines have constantly been changing tactics against each of them up to now. Not only was that done nice and smoothly, but she looked incredible doing it too. Such a quick way to return to the ship. He's talking about Robin for context, and yeah, I can't say I blame him. These two being so cute and happy, but the main win, everyone is finally back together on the ship. I do always like it when Nami takes charge on the boat. She really is perfect at using that big brain of hers. By the end of the arc, you'll be sick of me saying it, but realism for the Marines for removing all cannonballs from the ship, which should obviously do after securing the ship. That is easily scoring max wins. It looked bloody brilliant how he took them in and forced them out at the gate, my god! I can't believe I hadn't even considered that. A great end to the episode, so damn good. Darth Weirdo, Fiji, Nick Wyndham, The Element Taylor Wars, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Mini Masher, Marquez, Nozomi, Orkeeper, Otar Bananisi, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Bird Without a Word, Brandon Kriya, Brian Bayard, Cameron, Christian Tavasa, Commander Cyrus, David Mayer Olmos, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Aaron Winters, Guru, James Tafoya, Jor Edvinson, Kevin Halston, Comfroy, Kylie Welp, Luis Benito, Mr. Mansu, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Ruby Rose, Satoko Yari, Zionx 44, Sean, Starkip, The 100s, Tiger Lily Warrior, Ajoka, Alexander Schwartz, Ali 50, Amadillo, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dante Soul, Dante's Face, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Devon, Dragon Defender, Iso, Francie, Garrett Vermeesh, Gibbs, Hoved Lowe's Ritter, Hunter Miranda, Isel Caldera, Jason Davies, John, Jaffa 6263, Kai Wolfspring, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevin 102, Knuckle Duster, Kai 158, Kyle Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gugati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Matthew Blancett, Michael Lewis, Modaviram, Mudini, Mr. Fire Cool, Nathaniel Gregomosa, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, Novagown, 9028, Ollie the Mighty, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Oscar I. Lopez, Owen Halloran, Q-Flash, Chris Harris, Ryan DeVeries, Psychomi Aoram, Sarcastic Truth, Snowy, Stan, Storm 970, TRS, Thrasher 340, Will Sass, Willyman.